Along with all the gameplay, Bethesda posted an article on what's new in Fallout 76. Hey Vault Dwellers, JV here, and today we're discussing what's new in Fallout 76. Be sure to subscribe and hit the bell for more Fallout 76 videos just like this. Before we jump in, all of this gameplay is from Mr. Matty Plays, one of my friends who attended the Fallout event and has given me permission to use his footage. So super big thanks to him. Please go show him some love. Link to his channel in the description below. While much of the focus was on the mountains of gameplay yesterday, we have a new Bethesda.net post that gives us some solid concrete information, bits and pieces that we didn't have before. This is a really long article that covers most every facet of the game, so we're going to go through each portion and identify the new information. As always, you're more than welcome to read it for yourselves. Link is in the description below. Starting off with the workshop system, it's returning from Fallout 4, but this time we have new structures like resource collectors to mine veins of components found out in the world. This is something that Pete Hines had confirmed in a tweet, but now this is Bethesda officially confirming it further. There's going to be like a vein of silver, and we're going to be able to place down an object called a resource collector that will mine it until, I assume, it runs dry. Obviously, we knew about camp, but this little tidbit here just confirming further, you can move it from place to place for new fast travel and respawn options. So if you die, camp serves as a respawn location along with other locations, and also it serves as a free fast travel point no matter where you are. Next up, great info on stashes. Your camp allows you to access your stash, which is a container for safe and permanent storage of things you want to keep. Your stash can also be accessed at stash containers found at train stations and red rocket stations. These are places where everyone is going to have a stash container where you can go and put your stuff away if you're not close to your camp. So we have more options than just fast traveling back to our camp. Fallout 76 also features public workshops that are unlocked through combat, either by clearing the area of PvE enemies or contesting another player's ownership. Public workshops provide free building materials for crafting workbenches, mining resources, building defenses to repel creature attack events and enemy players, or to experiment with structures to create new blueprints. So public workshops seem to serve the purpose of being an event zone where it's drawing players in order to participate, maybe take it over from other players in order to gain those valuable rewards and resources. It's like a cooperative thing where you can take it by yourself, but more than likely you're going to need to have a group to roll in there, take it over, and then reap the rewards. Next, we have some survival info. You can collect bonuses by staying well rested, which is to sleep, well fed, which is eating something that gives you that bonus, well tuned, which is something you get for playing instruments for a certain amount of time. You get a bonus for just doing that. There are lots of instruments we've seen in the gameplay, so that's exciting. And then hydrated, we assume that's just for hitting like 100% with your hydration meter. But be careful, avoid catching diseases and mutations in the process by avoiding radiation, sleeping in safe beds, eating cooked food, and drinking clean water. In a lot of the gameplay, we've seen these warnings. When people sleep on a certain bed, it says, this bed's on the ground, you might get a disease. So this is like survival light, like the light version of what we had in Fallout 4. We noted that equipment condition is back. It breaks down and encourages both the periodic repair of your favorite items as well as the motivation to try and find new ones. So you have to bring your equipment to an item workbench in order to repair it. And then all items have weight, including ammunition, so be careful with management of carry capacity. All these elements combine for a survival light experience. We've got some recap on the perk system. We knew a lot of this from the QuakeCon Q&A panel, but big takeaways: you can allocate 1 point to a special category with each level up until level 50. You start with 1 in every category, and the limit in each category is now 15. So total of 57 points, 15 limit in each category. You can build your character based on those. We don't know if you can refund these special points. That's something I really would like to know. We just don't know yet. More perks recap, but the major thing to pay attention to is that perk cards can be equipped and unequipped at any time. This could be in combat. This could be in a PvP scenario. You can switch your bonuses on the fly. Now remember, this game doesn't pause. When you pull up your Pip-Boy, doesn't pause. When you VATS, doesn't pause. So this is not something you're going to be able to do a lot of, but you can literally switch this stuff at any time. There's no limit. More clarification on fast travel. You can fast travel in this game for a caps fee based on the distance between you and that location that you're traveling to, but there are 3 instances in which it's completely free: traveling to teammates, traveling to your camp, and traveling back to Vault 76. When you fall in combat, you can be revived by other players if they have a stim pack and move quickly enough to get you. If you're not revived, you can choose a respawn location for fast travel from the world map. So that's what happens when you die. I've seen some gameplay of PvP from Maddie, and I didn't really see like that specific thing, like choosing a place where you want to respawn. There was just a respawn button. So I have some questions about that. But you can also use perk cards in order to give you bonuses for reviving. This article references that booze perk that allows you to revive with beer or wine or whatever, or you could summon the mysterious stranger to help you. This could be useful in PvP. If you want to go and get revenge, you get revived, you got the mysterious stranger, and you can go for backup. When you're over encumbered in 76, you can't sprint or fast travel. You can still jump and move at your normal speed, but that drains your action points, and then you slow to a crawl when you run out of action points. So exactly the same as Fallout 4. As we saw in a lot of the gameplay, the in-game map is not that skeleton frame that we're used to. It's a full color map, and this is where you're going to access photo mode and the social menu to presumably play with friends, invite them to your server, so on and so forth. Then it says the approximate location of other players is shown on the world map, but from what we've seen, they're actual dots. So I don't know if that dot is supposed to be a very small radius or if that's exactly where they are, but for some reason they chose approximate for this wording. We've got more recap about PvP. There's literally nothing new here. If you paid attention to all of the QuakeCon stuff, the way the Wanted Murderer system works, essentially there's slap damage. You do minimal damage unless you return fire. That activates PvP. But if you don't participate and you just get gunned down by someone and you don't want to fight back, they will become a Wanted Murderer. They will have a bounty on their head. Everyone on their map will disappear, but everyone will see where they are, and if they die, the bounty will come out of their own caps for the person who killed them. We know VATS is now in real time, and it's useful for locating enemies, but as Michael from Fudge Muppet pointed out, it costs AP every single time you click the VATS button. Whether you choose to use it or not, since it's in real time, it's going to cost you a little bit, so that's going to be more of a sparing usage there when you actually need it. And then it says stealth factors into VATS and HUD visibility for PvP. Honestly, for the life of me, I don't know what this means. Obviously, if you're stealth, you're going to get a stealth bonus. That is something that carries over. We don't know about the percentages and how that's changed, but HUD visibility, that's an interesting one. We'll have to see exactly what they're talking about. And then it says teams share in loot from enemies killed by their teammates. All players that assisted in creature kills are granted full XP, so you really want to make sure that you shoot every single enemy that your teammates are shooting so you get that XP. Here's some brand new info. In Fallout 76, we allow players to wear whatever armor pieces are optimal for survival, but they can choose to wear an outfit on top of that. So you can look how you want and not sacrifice survivability. This freedom allows your fellow 76ers to look wildly different. You'll see combat armor, raider armor, and friendly blue vault 76 armor, but you'll also see people wearing clown costumes, park ranger outfits, and more. Maddie has shown us plenty of this. We've got silly like clown outfits, park ranger outfits. We've seen both of those. I think we can assume that a lot of the microtransactions with the Atom system will be tied to these optional outfits. They're purely cosmetic. They don't give you any boosts in combat, but if you got the Tricentennial Edition, for example, you'll have an Uncle Sam outfit that you can put over your armor. A little more information on NPCs that we've seen clarified in the gameplay. You'll encounter a lot of robots and AI surviving and adapting to the new world. Some of our robots are major quest givers, and you'll get to know them well. One of the central themes of the game is that Vault 76 opens its doors. Players are the only living people in the entire game world. So our stories are focused on the notes, holotapes, and terminals of the brave, but now sadly deceased former residents of the Appalachia. Who are these people? How did they die? Are there things the dead can teach me? Are there things they left undone that need to be finished? I think this gives us a lot to go on in terms of what we're going to be encountering from side quests, the main mission with the Overseer, but from a lot of the gameplay that we've seen, there are a ton of robot NPCs. The Greenbrier is full of them. Protectrons, sentry bots, all kinds of people are going to be there, all kinds of robot people, rather. So we're going to see plenty of NPCs that are robots and maybe ghouls. And maybe super mutants, we'll see. Here's great info on a new quest type called events. They are designed to be easy for people to drop in and instantly be working together toward a shared objective. For most events, PvP is turned off. All the incentives point to friendly co-op. Everyone succeeds or fails together, and the rewards are applied equally. Events are ideal with groups, but they can be completed by solo players as well. We have some events that are specifically designed for PvP, but you have to opt in for those. I see events as a sort of radial quest evolution that you can do with friends, and hopefully we get more context. Hopefully they're not as bland as the radial missions in Fallout 4, and from the gameplay, they seem pretty interesting. But this PvP mode that they're talking about, I'm going to make a video on this this very soon. It's called Hunter versus Hunted. It is a PvP, like opt-in. You become someone that's marked on the map if you tune into this radio broadcast. So we'll talk more about that later. Something entirely new that I haven't heard anything about yet is supply drops. They come from an automated system that was built by the Emergency Services of the Appalachia, which would allow people to request government airdrops of vital supplies. Every now and then you'll come across a U.S. government supply requisition holotape, and if you get it to a radio tower, you can actually call in a supply drop. Of course, goodies falling from the sky potentially attracts not only enemy AI, but other players as well. So this is a dynamic event triggered by players, and I have a billion questions, obviously. How often are we going to find these? Are these going to be something that's going to drop every 30 minutes, every hour? You know, are people going to be notified on the map, or is it just a visual thing? Can they see it from really far away? This is a very interesting game mechanic. More info on nukes. A big part of the main questline revolves around the players becoming their own nuclear powers. Nukes are a very big in-your-face way that players can change the world around them. We know what nukes do to the world. This is recap info, but the process of launching a nuke is complex and time-consuming, also an incredible accomplishment. We heard from Pete Hines on Twitter that apparently you can only drop a nuke once per week per account. So what does that tell us? It tells us that 1, nukes will not be dropping 24/7. 2, they're supposed to be legitimately difficult. You're not just going to hop on every single night and drop a nuke. That's just not how nukes are going to function in this game, whether they're the end game or not. To cap off the article, we have a message on future updates. Our goals are to respond to player feedback and give everyone more of what they love in 76, including all future updates for free. No paid DLC for this game if you didn't know that already. All right, that was a lot of info. I usually don't make videos this long, but I wanted to cover everything that was new or noteworthy in this article. There's a lot more to dive into with all of the gameplay out there. We haven't even gotten started. So be sure and stay tuned for many more videos coming in the next 2 weeks ahead of the beta. In the comment section, tell me if you're going to go after supply drops. Share your thoughts below. If you enjoyed the video, remember to subscribe and hit the bell for more Fallout 76 content, like my last video where we discuss 5 big changes from the gameplay. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll talk to you next time.